I'm about to be totally honest with you. Going into 2026, making ads is harder than ever. Every single day, costs keep rising, people are scrolling faster than ever, and capturing their attention becomes almost impossible. And even if you do get them to stop, the number of people who trust you to take the next step is getting less and less. At this point, they know every single trick in the box. My name is Liam. I handle tens of thousands in ad spend every single month for my realtor and wholesale clients. And in today's video, I'm going to go over the 10 best YouTube ad formats that are working right now. Now, if you've had some experience with YouTube ads in the past, or let's say you've run a Google Ads account before, you've seen many different formats that you have the option to choose when running the ads. And it can be pretty confusing, to be honest with you. But what's important to understand is which different format to use depending on the type of campaign you're running in order to maximize your performance, your results, and in turn your ROI. So what I want to do is just break down each of these and when to actually use them. So the first type of format is the skippable in-stream section. When you're on YouTube, you're watching a long form piece of content, and as you click on it, usually an ad will appear before your video. These are usually skippable. And most people, when I talk to most of my clients, intuitively, they say to me like, I always skip those ads. Why would I ever watch them? But they don't understand that most of the time they're probably just not in a position for a buying position, or they've been hit with awareness stuff and subconsciously they don't even really know what's going on. But the point is with the skippable in-stream is to understand which users skip so that you can understand your attention. What people are watching over 30 seconds, which people are watching, 50% of the video, 60%, whatever. And this is important because if you can identify this, then you understand at what point your ads are resonating, if they're even resonating at all, and what types of scripts, what types of frameworks you should be running when actually creating the copy. Now, these are going to serve on YouTube videos, Google Video Partners, in-stream videos, like I said before, and the Google Video Partners app. And what I recommend with this is not making the videos any longer than 3 minutes, but there really isn't a max length you can have on this because people have the option to skip at any particular point in time. But anything greater than 3 minutes typically just gets dragged out and you can get your point across in less than 3 minutes. And one other thing I just want to say, because, I really do recommend skippable in-stream, is you only pay when someone watches 30 seconds or more of your ad. And if your ad is less than 30 seconds, the viewer has to watch the entire ad in order for you to be charged for it, which is a huge plus when it comes to skippable in-stream. Next is in-feed. Basically, these are just videos that are showed to basically highly engaged users in the discovery and searching phase. And this is showing up on the home feed or the YouTube search. And people have the ability to click on this and watch it, or they're just a picture that brings them right to the landing page. And basically, these are good for just top of funnel types of people. This is more so like awareness-based stuff. This is not necessarily something you need in order to generate leads. The next is non-skippable in-stream. So everything we just went over in skippable in-stream is the exact same, but the difference is these are not skippable. So basically, the only difference I would make here is have your videos be about 15 to 60 seconds max, because, obviously people don't have the ability to skip and they're probably just going to click off the video if you end up actually running them for like 3 minutes long. So yeah, just keep them as basically what I recommend is between 15 and 30 seconds long for the non-skippable. Next, we have like bumper ads as well. And this is just a quick message that basically can't be skipped in order to raise awareness about your campaign. So these are essentially in the exact same placements that we were talking about before. They're on YouTube videos, they're on Google Video Partners, in-stream videos, etc. And basically these are around 6 seconds long. And then finally, what we have are YouTube Shorts. So basically these are shown to highly engaged users in a mobile optimized experience. So it's basically the exact same thing as skippable in-stream, just on the YouTube Shorts function as well. And anything under 60 seconds is what is going to be required, obviously, because if your video is over 60 seconds, then it's going to be posted as an in-stream ad. If it's under 60 seconds, YouTube will categorize it as a short, and placing it there will qualify it for YouTube Short ads as well. Now, there are 3 different categories when it comes to categorizing the different types of placements for your ads. Top of funnel ads, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And basically the top of the funnel is just basically the awareness stage. So this is like a typical bumper like we talked about before, or a short non-skippable in-stream, maybe 15-second ad as well. These are solely responsible for creating familiarity with your ads and your brand, etc. You don't want to have any call to actions. And if you do, they want to be really, really soft, maybe going to your website, maybe, if that, most of the time, nothing at all, because you want to have a wide reach and you just want people in total demographic to know who you are. You don't want them to make any decisions. You just want them to see your face and activate the mirror exposure effect. Next are short ads. Again, these are more top of funnel as well. And basically you just want to have a punchy format, something that can attract attention, because when people are on YouTube Shorts, this is basically the new, Reels, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. And YouTube is in this area becoming a little bit less education-based and more entertainment-based. So just make sure that these are punchy. But when these are done correctly, you guys got to understand, because of Google's targeting, it is better than Instagram and Facebook Reels. And it's so much better to get your videos in front of the right people. But the caveat to this is you need to have a winning script, because most of the time it takes a lot for the algorithm to identify who's optimized for these particular types of ads. So when starting out, don't run YouTube Shorts ads, run in-stream skippable ads as well. And then from there, you can decide, okay, well, if we have a winner, then we can start running short ads based on these. And when they win and when you get it right, these are actually more profitable than the skippable in-stream ads for a lot of different businesses. And now moving into the middle of funnel, we have first off the classic problem solution VSL. These are a lot of the ads that I show as examples in my YouTube videos and on my other content you can check out on my channel. And essentially here, basically the format, if you don't already understand, is you address your demographic and their problem, agitate their problem, bring up a solution, and then show your social proof, and then bring in your offer and your call to action to move to the next page. And so most people say to me, like I said before, most clients tell me, Liam, I would skip over this ad. Why should I even run an ad like this? This doesn't make any sense. I would skip this. And based on mere data, it works, okay? And this isn't just anybody's data. You can, talk to any company other than me, but based on my data as well. Over and over again, these drive the best conversions and has a great balance of quality and also quantity as well. So your cost per lead is healthy. We've seen a 7 to 10x ROAS on this kind of stuff. This is no joke. You know what I mean? I've seen higher than 10. I've seen 70x ROAS, which I've talked about in another video. But the point is, this is still here. And basically just some variations you want to test with this is, before and after transformations, case studies showing a problem, and then a solution for real clients. And this is usually the first type of video, the go-to that I would do when starting ads, because it's basically the foundation. And then once it works, you can then layer in other formats, like I said before, in order to test. But this is the bare bones. This is something that I'd always go to. This is the first type of ad that I'll be formatting, creating for any one of my clients. So the next type of format we're going to go over in the middle of funnel is UGC ads. And this just stands for user-generated content. You've probably seen this stuff if you have TikTok, as these ads that are the homemade types of ads talking about either a particular product or a different type of person or a different type of business. And usually what I recommend is just having the perspective of a client talking about the particular business, or you can hire an actor talking about you and your services, your features, etc., all that kind of stuff. But it's deliberately shot on things like phones, and more so than not shot vertically, to basically boost the authenticity and organicness-esque of the actual ad, because this is why the reason it works, right? Because platform fatigue has set in. All these polished ads that are posted on the skippable in-stream ads, people have seen them over and over and over again, and it's become so saturated that people almost just filter it out now. And if done, when you do the in-stream skippable ads correctly for the horizontal, you can absolutely have it win. Don't get me wrong, and most of the time I actually run it similar to UGC anyway. But the point is, overly polished stuff is just a turnoff for most people nowadays. And raw content, simply put, signals authenticity, and it feels more like organic YouTube content. The next type of format is a behind-the-scenes style. So this can just be like a day in the life, what you do when you wake up, you go to the office, anything that's relevant to your work that showcases why working with you makes the most sense. And it's just basically designed to create familiarity and build trust while showcasing your results. And basically you can do a day in the life showing your problem, and then eventually leading into a solution in real life scenarios. So the last format we have for middle of funnel are discovery ads. These are basically YouTube's native in-feed ads that are going to appear in the search results and recommendations. And basically, these are going to be the picture ads. When you type in, let's say, sell my house faster, how can I sell my home on YouTube, your ad's going to appear there as an image. And these are working simply because, well, obviously, users are actively searching keywords that are relevant to your particular service. And so this makes it the highest intent traffic on the platform, and the cost per lead because of this should be 40 to 60% lower than in-stream, because almost every single person that's seeing your ad is actually in the market for your service. So you have to understand that thumbnail and headline is everything when it comes to making this work. Your thumbnail needs to look like native content and not an ad. And you want to use faces, contrasting colors, curiosity gaps, all of the normal things that people use in headlines on organic YouTube content to blend in with everything else, but it's going to stand out because you're going to solve a problem right now for them. This is basically best for lead generation, content updates, educational ads, etc. And then finally, we have the bottom of funnel formats. So the first thing is a testimonial format. Basically, this is a 60 to 90 second testimonial, and these perform super well as standalone ads, or you can add it as secondary footage along with your long form ads. Basically, just some high converting elements that I would suggest you use are using specific numbers in the hook. So how Sarah sold their home for, let's say, 20% more in less than 30 days. And you want to show the actual person, not just, a voiceover with stock footage. Like, you want to show people that, the client you worked with is actually real. And you want to include, if you can, objection handling within the testimonial and using soft call to actions from the customer themselves. This is the key, because if your customer is just a variation of your next customer, right? They're very similar. So, and anybody that knows marketing understands that people are at the root moved and motivated by their identity. Okay. So if they can see a resemblance in their own identity, that's what's getting them to click next. So the next format is a case study format. And this is basically long form video ads breaking down your process for getting your client results. You want to address the problems and pain points, emotional storytelling, how you're different, etc. And basically, I also go over this in my channel as well. The structure can be something like this. So you want to state the pain or the problem they're experiencing, the discovery moment, how they actually found you as the realtor or, let's say, wholesaler, and then the after state. So what was their transformation? How did you get them out of their current bad result, lead them into a much better desired result in an achievable time frame without any effort and sacrifice? And so the last one we have is the cross-platform retargeting format. Basically, you're going to have retargeting across not only just YouTube formats, but other platforms as well. Google search, Facebook, etc. And this is designed to create the I see you everywhere effect. So you can take your testimonial ads and your case study ads, and you can put them across all platforms. And what you can do is, as far as retargeting goes, take an email list that you currently have of your customers, take your website visitors, take people that have seen your ads before, which you can actually extract, download as a CSV, and import them and create small budget campaigns, $5 to $10 a day, targeting just those people. So it can activate the mirror exposure effect again, and then they can convert. Let's say they visited your website, but they didn't submit their information. This is going to increase that likelihood by 300 to 400%. Now that I've shown you the 10 best ad formats, you're probably wondering, how do I actually get into the recording and the scripting of the ads themselves? Well, lucky for you, I've recorded another video covering just that right here. That aside, this is the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.